Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday shout out. And this time, I've got some keys getting involved. The man who talks with his fingers, the wonderful, amazing David Lackner. Hey!
Helena, lovely to see you.
Oh, it's
Hello from
so
Vienna. Hello from Vienna.
yay! Big love to Vienna. I am missing it, and the sun is shining.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
The
looks
last
so good.
moments of daylight, but it's really beautiful what's
Ah,
coming in here from the window.
so wonderful. And I'm so lucky and blown away to have you on my album. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine.
And we worked together a lot in Vienna. And when I thought about keys wise, I just knew that I really wanted to work with you. And we have such a shared love for a certain band. And there are quite a few bands that we really do love, but we're really into like the acid jazz vibes and
Yeah.
funk in general. And yes, we have a shared love of Jamiroquai. When I was thinking about making this electronic funk pop album, I just knew that I had to ask you to be involved.
That was only one of many reasons I enjoyed to play on your album, but it was definitely one of the reasons. And actually, what's funny that when we started to play in this club in Vienna, where we actually met, playing soul and funk music together. Shortly after that, I had a few gigs in the UK with a band from USA called Tortured Soul. And among others, we played on a festival north of London, just outside of London. And actually, Jason Kay was there to watch the gig. And so we didn't really get a big chance of talking a lot backstage, but we met, and I was really happy to feel the vibe. And it was somehow connected to you because it was at the same time that we started gigging together. So yeah, it all went together like in a circle.
There are a few tracks that you are on the album, and the one that is out at the moment is Struggle. The keys sound so good. I love them.
Yeah, so do I. It was a very very unusual take I had on this song, actually, because there is some elements which are, I would say, familiar to us, like with having this acid jazz ear and vibe. But there is a few musical moments and also harmonic moments where Struggle just goes elsewhere, and that's what made the song so interesting to work on for me. You had the song layouted, you had the keyboards layouted, but what I also really appreciated is that you gave us musicians lots of freedom to bring inputs and to bring in some fresh ideas, some of which were used, some of which were not used, as it always is. So I really like to listen to the song over and over, and slowly start to have the inspirations coming and trying out some things, and also just staying true to some things which were on the layout because they were actually already very they made sense musically and they were very good. The layout was very nice, actually. Yeah, it was very careful arranging and completing the song, what I felt the song still needed. And of course, playing to your voice was always, this was from the first gig we had together. I always love playing with you. And if I have the instrumental coming out of my speakers and I hear your voice, then it's already a huge inspiration.
Yay.
So Struggle was fun. Struggle was one of the most special tracks I played on your album for me musically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really? That's
yeah.
lovely.
Also, this strange chord. There is this one strange chord in the chorus which was from the beginning had something like a magical twist, because it was just a chord you wouldn't expect. I'm sorry, I'm talking like a musician right now, but maybe there is some musicians listening.
Definitely.
They would understand. Yeah. So this chord at the beginning, I thought, okay, well, what about this chord? And the more often I listened to it, the more it made sense to me. And when I started to record the keyboards, actually, I was waiting for this chord from the beginning of the song. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I played the intro, and then the verse comes, and then you have this breaky bridge falling into the chorus, and I was like, okay, now the chord is coming, and then the chord came, and I was like, chord,
Yeah.
the chord, yes. So I love the song,
amazing.
and I love this chord. Yeah.
The song with that chord in it, guys.
The song with that chord, yeah. I don't know how you handle it when you're working with a new song with new material, but it often happens to me that there is some element of the song which is jumping at me, and that's often how I find my way into it. And with Struggle, it was this chord.
That's amazing. People are going to be listening back to it now, going, "What chord does he mean?"
Yeah, I mean, I won't say more, but I would say if you listen to Struggle carefully once, you will know exactly which chord I'm hitting at, because this chord is, I would even say, extravagant.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it speaks to me. And so that was part of the fun.
Writing it with Fabian from Sheepo Studios and writing the 3 tracks that I wrote with Johnny as well. They had their initial groundings and the core to it, but then bringing it with extra instrumentation, with the drums, the bass, with the keys. That's like when all the elements, I feel like, come together and they really do come alive. And that's like further story with the instrumentation alongside the story of the lyrics, because I feel like they're both completely important and at the forefront. Of course, it is a vocal album, it is a Helena May album, but it's not just about that, it's about the musicianship around it. It's a hybrid album. It's got its electronic programming, but then it's also got the most important part and core of it is the instrumentation and all those just amazing little gems and those chords and things that you wouldn't expect, and the sounds.
Yeah,
I love it. It gets me really excited.
Absolutely. And talking about Struggle, another gem I can think about spontaneously is this one syncopated bass drum in the chorus. You know, it's pretty much a 4 to the floor feeling arrangement, but there is one kick which is syncopated, and it's another gem, because for me, in a very magical way, it kicks off the chorus, you know, because the verse it's a little bit held back, and the refrain doesn't really scream at you because it's very sophisticated arrangement. This syncopated bass drum, God, we're talking like musicians again, Helena. Do you realize that?
This is good. This is musician chat and
this is
passion
musician chat,
for music.
Yeah, totally. And also another thing I would like to add on the arrangement thing. I mean, most of the tracks I played on with Fabian from Ship Hill, so the layouts were programmed. And what made it also interesting for me is to make programmed parts become alive, like, you know, because if you are working with a computer, you arrange, basically you are like an architect, you know, you're putting bricks here and there, and you slowly construct your arrangement. And if you play one take of your instrument as a musician, you're much more into the moment. You have a different stance, you have a different approach. And for me, it was very interesting to bring together the carefully sophisticated layout arrangements Fabian and you did, and then playing them. Yeah, because it always undergoes a change. It gets another dynamic, and even as an inspiration, sometimes I remember. Also for recording Struggle, there was one keyboard part. It's not the main keyboard part, but it's a side part, so to say, where I had the feeling it's really good that it sounds undynamic and not too human. So I was learning from the layout, and I was trying, because I felt it was right for this song, for this part. So I tried to play it in how should I say, unhuman way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to feel like a robot for 3 minutes. and so it was a mutual inspiration, you know. Sometimes the layouts you sent me, I wanted to humanize some parts I did, and sometimes I wanted to keep the feel which was on your layout already, so I tried to be completely emotionless.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a really cool take on it. And I guess in a way you're choosing what the music needs, though, aren't you, by
Exactly.
making that decision? Because you
Exactly.
could humanize it, but then it might not create the essence and the feel that it needs.
Arrangement is about contrasts. Of course, you have traditional arrangements which you can find in various songs, also in various ages even. But with your music, it was clearly different, because your music is, at least that's how I feel it, is in many ways hybrids.
Yeah.
You are always between worlds, because,
Yes.
I mean, I think we live pretty much on the same musical planet. So I think we're also, it's our, maybe the generation also, because we've been listening to different influences, and I think that when we make our own music, it automatically inspires. You know, you're not in a special tradition. You cover many things, and it
Yeah.
makes, and you make a Helena May
Yeah.
uh, um, mixture out of
The
it.
record. Yeah, because every single song on the album has its own personality, and they've been made in that way, and I
Totally.
love doing that. I think that's also why it sticks out, I think, as a record, but then also it has its challenges alongside that as well, because it's not one thing and it's not the other. But I love that about it, because really art should be coming from the heart and the soul. And, you know, if you bring a crowd with you that dig it and they really like it, then that's the bonus. But you know, deep down it's come from you. You haven't tried to be anything else other than you.
Yeah. And then the inspirations transgress you, come through you, and mix up with what you have to tell, what you have to say yourself about your life, and about the issues you're talking about. And I also,
Definitely.
I was just listening to you to the whole album again today, because actually it's been a while since we recorded it.
Yeah.
I haven't realized. For me, it's like, hey, we did that yesterday. No, we didn't do it yesterday. We did it months ago.
Yes.
And so I listened to it as a whole, and I completely agree with you. I think for me, it's on the one side, it's a very how you say in English, and very heterogeneous, heterogenic, which means like you vary in style, you vary a lot on the same album. It's like, you know, from Diamond 101, for instance, even Struggle, or some other songs which are much more intimate.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I really like about the album.
Amazing.
Because I'm an eclectic. I basically saying what we said before. We like this from this side, we like this from that side, we like that band, we like that singer from the 60s, we like that DJ from the 90s, we like and I think this reflects us.
Yeah.
And so I think that your album reflects you very well in this way.
Really cool.
Because you didn't try to narrow the limits of musical expression.
Yeah.
But you just, you know, you went through it.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted it to have some sort of competition in the commercial kind of market, but there's like Tower of Power in there. There's like Earth, Wind and Fire in there. There's like Average White Band. There's some Jamiroquai. There's some Anderson .Paak. There's some Kate Renata in there. Like some modern influences. And I didn't really want it to be completely one thing. It definitely isn't that way inclined. It's got its own special little essence, which, yeah, I'm proud of.
I think you chose wisely.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing, because it's more of you. I think that this kind of album, which is so can I call it eclectic? Does it
Yeah,
get
I like
across what it
that.
means?
Yeah, definitely.
It's an eclectic album because you're choosing various tastes and you bring them together in one pot. So in that way, for me, it's eclectic. I believe that these kinds of albums take more time to get through, to get understood properly.
Yeah.
And but I think it's good to give the audience the time to orient themselves within all those different influences to have. For me, it's much more enriching. And if we were talking about our influences, I mean, I love Anderson .Paak too. I'm actually, is nobody listening? I'm in love with him, actually. I must say, I can't believe I love his drumming. I love his singing, and I think it's the same for his albums, because if you listen to Ventura, it goes all the way from gangster rap to really this song with Smokey Robinson, which is basically a Temptations ballad.
I love it.
And this is
so
also
cool.
it's unbelievable. And so I'm always susceptible for this kind of eclectic approach.
Yeah.
And I see this in your album too. And for me, this is a strong point. It's just, I think it takes more time to be understood. It's like Anderson .Paak's music too.
That was something that Fabian and I have talked about. Wouldn't it be great? This is like the first product down the line, maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years time, and I've done a couple of albums. Wouldn't it be great to just kind of look back at the Funkalicious album and go, yeah, we made that. that was album number 1. You know,
I'm sure it will be like that. Every creative process in music, either if you're writing an album, even if you're producing, an album, both are very lonely jobs. If you decide that you have collected ideas and now is the time to make an album, and you start finishing your ideas, you start recording, arranging, playing with musicians and all that, it's always you who has to decide, now it's good. Or the song still needs this and this and that. It's the same challenge I think you have as a songwriter. It's the same challenge you have as a producer. Knowing when it's enough, knowing when it's good. Not stopping before, like okay, I have a good idea, that's fine, let's put a C part and then outro and then it's enough. On the other hand, you shouldn't, there can be a point when the song is actually done and you're still looking for things. So you have to feel when the point has come that to say, I'm good now, the baby is born, and that's the way it's gonna be. And so for me, I think this is the most challenging part. I mean, I'm talking less as a songwriter than more as a producer, but I think this question you ask yourself over and over again: when am I good? When is this song the way it's supposed to be? And I guess you encountered similar issues when you were writing the album.
Yeah, there were definitely. I think towards the end of the writing and recording process, and listening back to so many different versions of it and different mixes, and this needs to go higher, this needs to be lower, or what about this needs to come out more, this needs more harmony. It's like you do just live with it, like, and it consumes you 24 hours a day because you want it to be amazing. And because you know that this is going to be part of your history for the rest of your life. So, of course, you want it to be the best that it can be. But yeah, it is definitely been challenges and moments of just kind of going, yeah, this is it. Come on now. Fabian's also the same with that too. And we even had like moments in the studio where Fabian would, like, in my mind, it's perfect. We've done it. But for Fabian, he's like, no, it just needs that little bit more, like more DBs on this and like less on this, and he is a perfectionist in that sense as well. And there have been moments where we just had to look at each other in the studio and just be like, okay, it's done. Come on now, step back. Like
I mean, you had in Fabian's person, you had a very important counterpart. I mean, also this like if you look at the music you like, if you look at your own record shelf or the wall behind you,
Yeah, the vinyl
where
wall.
yeah, the vinyl wall where the records are hanging, you have many examples of teams, you know, teams of
Yeah.
two. I don't know. I mean, from Lennon McCartney to Robbie Williams, and what was this guy Chambers? He wrote the songs for Robbie Williams, and as long as they were a team, it was brilliant. I think it needs a lot of mutual trust.
Finding that pairing with Fabian was epic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so thankful for it because he's been there right from the start to finish with me in creating this and producing it with me and living it for like 2 years with me, and then and now it's coming out.
I think Fabian's work is highly appreciated, very good inputs, and very good place to work to. I mean, remember the 1-2 live sessions we've been doing there in other contexts, but just, you know, I think the studio is always, it's not only important that it sounds good, it's important that it feels good.
Yeah, definitely. And it
feels good to be there. You spend so many hours there, and I think the studio where you and Fabian worked is really a place where ideas can pop out and develop. And I dropped by a couple of times, and I enjoyed every single time. Making music there is an inspiring thing. So, and I think, you know, all the details contribute to basically what comes out of the speakers in the end.
Yeah. Definitely, and he really does.
With who, at what time in your life, how did you feel, and where did you work? And so I think the Sheep Hill connection was a good thing with your album and everything.
Definitely.
So were the musicians.
Oh yeah,
So were the musicians.
Forever in everyone's debt and like grateful for every single person that's on that album, and that everyone that I asked was like, yeah, I'll be on your album. I'd love to be. So it's like, yes. It's great.
Why may that be, Helena? Why does everybody enjoy being on your album? I wonder. It's true for me as well, actually. The Viennese bunch. I mean, come on. The Swiss bassman. Come on.
Oh, ridiculous. Everyone.
It's ridiculous.
Everyone.
Seppi on drums. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
How can they be so funky? Yeah,
I know. Jojo Lackner, Chris Neuschmid on guitar, like ridiculous. Seriously. Yeah, I recommend Austria, everyone.
I think there is good musicians all over the world, in every country, in every place. But you dropped in Vienna, and you happened to find them.
I did.
You happened to find them, or they happened to find you, or I don't know what kind of cosmic thing happened there, but it was really the choice, the bandmates.
Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Unbelievable.
Such a mixture of amazing guys. There's 19 of them all together. There's a couple of UK guys on there as well. I know.
You had 19 musicians altogether?
19 people, yes.
Wow. You will have an extra long booklet.
I know, it's going to be
for the liner notes.
When the album comes out, yes, there's going to be a lot. I was wondering, have you got a favorite keys setup or a certain sound? What do you love?
My real specialty are more like polyphonic synths from the 80s. I will just, if you want, drop some names. There is a guy called Dave Smith. He was working for Sequential Circuits. They did a lot of legendary synths of the 80s, like the Prophet 5. And this guy has started to build new synthesizers, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And he started his own company, and now he's basically releasing a new synth every year, more or less. And I'm using a lot of his instruments because he, as a creator of instruments, he's kind of driven by the same passion that we are, is creating beautiful sound. And so the synthesizers which Dave Smith builds, particularly the Prophet 08 and the OB6, which both I use a lot, they are real musical instruments. I mean, they have a sound which is absolutely unmistakable, and they have very, very special. We're getting very technical. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay, okay,
love
okay.
it. I love learning about instruments. This is good. I hope
Yeah,
everyone that's watching is enjoying this too. This is good. It's
I hope so too.
education.
Yeah,
Education.
I hope so too. Otherwise, please have some coffee. Um, no, but they also have a very, very sophisticated signal path. It means the way how you can work with the oscillators and the filters, the way the filters sound, and all this makes them, unique instruments. So there is really a lot of synths on the market, and basically, I have the approach that if the musician is good, he can also work with a crappy synth. So I think if there is a good keyboard player, if you have, um, you know, I don't know, Matt Johnson or anybody else, you can give
Nice.
him a cheap Casio keyboard. He will play brilliant sounds. He will bring brilliant sounds out of it. But of course, if you work a lot with synthesizers, you try to have the instruments which you feel talk to you the most. But I must say, it's not only synths. I really like the Fender Rhodes, and I really like the piano. I mean, I love playing piano. Actually, I have a small upright piano in my studio, which is a German make called Schimmel, and it's not even very old. I think it's from somewhere in the 80s, but it has very direct in your face sound, um, and I really love playing the piano. And yeah, and Fender Rhodes is
Yeah.
anyway for for
Stunning.
for 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 us liking soul and funk music. There is no way getting around Fender Rhodes.
Yeah.
So I'm using a Mark One, because there is also the Mark II, which has more this belly, very bright sound. The Mark One is a little bit darker, and I prefer the dark and dirty, side.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm using a Mark One. Sometimes trying different effects on it, plugging into a guitar amp,
Oh,
and
wow. That's
so
cool.
yeah. But I think that's the thing which many keyboard players fall for. I don't know, this Fender Rhodes is just a magical instrument. It has such a interesting story, because actually it has been created to replace a real piano.
Oh,
The
wow.
this guy, I think it was even during World War II or something like that, or maybe, I don't know, the War of Korea or some war. He wanted to build a piano which could be brought to the U.S. Army bases in wherever they were, so they could make music. And that's how, it was actually basically supposed to be a portable piano, but of course the sound has nothing to do with a piano. So out of let's say, a bad replacement came this instrument with very original sound, and which has been one of the most used
Wow.
instruments especially in the 70s. From Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, everybody used it. Earth, Wind and Fire.
That's
And I have
so
one too.
cool.
I can even maybe you can
Can
see a
see
glimpse
it.
of it. It's here,
Hello.
right there, right there. That's my Fender Rose. He says hi too. He's very quiet now. I haven't plugged him into the amp, so
He's
so
having a
yeah.
sleep.
He's
Chilling.
snoozing. Yeah, yeah. But I'll say hi from you afterwards.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So yeah. Piano, Fender Rhodes, and a couple of synths. There is one last synth I could mention, because it's very special to me. You see it up there.
Mhm.
It's from a Japanese brand called Korg, and it's the synth is called MS-20, and it's probably, technically speaking, the cheapest, crappiest synth ever built. It's monophonic, so it can only play one note at a time, but it has a special filter which allows to distort,
Oh,
to put
yes.
distortion on the filter. You can overdrive it, and this gives this MS-20 an absolute uniqueness. So I used it actually on your album quite a lot.
Yes. I
I,
was
I
going to
just didn't
say you
tell you.
have, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I kept it secret. I didn't talk about it, but I used the MS-20, I think, on 2 or 3 tracks
It's
on your
so
album.
good. I love
Yeah.
it. There is, when you talk about the upright piano, because most of the songs that people have heard so far are very like they're pumping, they're in your face, they're upbeat, but there is one track that's in 3/4 as well. Just changing it up a little bit, but you have the upright piano in there.
That track has been recorded with this upright piano we were talking about before, right? And it was a, how do you say, a lucky punch, because the upright piano, you have quite different sounds. Like my upright piano would sound very differently from a Yamaha upright piano, because it's a different construction, different wood, strings, etc., etc. And so actually we were lucky that the upright piano worked so well with that 3/4 song you were mentioning. Because I was also trying some sampled pianos, because I would do that too sometimes. If it works better with the song, why not? So I was trying some keyscape pianos, some native instruments pianos, and then I was microphoning my piano, and I did 2 or 3 takes. I sat down, I listened to them, I compared it to the keyscape pianos, and that was it. And it was clear that this piano was perfect for the song. It's also so nice. It's so nice when you're working on a song and you're done with all the musical things. You know what is in place where, and then you get down to choosing a nice piano song like this. I love doing that. So one of my favorite parts in recording music is choosing sounds.
So you were in your home territory with all your wonderful keys, and it was really nice to have you send them in to us and for us to just listen to them in the studio, and to then pick and choose which parts and which versions as well, because you gave us loads of different versions. And then that was a real beauty as well, and a real gift to be able to just kind of work out which ones were going to be best to like be that piece in the puzzle.
I think we made best of the situation, of the given situation, because I actually would have preferred you and Fabian to be here, and that to have more an approach of making the music together, although we wouldn't have done the music together still. But having you in the same room, I would catch more of the vibe. And since it was not possible, we flipped the situation, and I recorded all the keyboards in my studio, and then I sent them over to you. The good thing about it is that your ears were completely fresh, because you haven't been here while recording. So you didn't hear the 20 takes, maybe. I don't know if it was 20. Could well be. The 20 takes I did and threw away, and tried something else. I think when you listen to a song very, very often, there is at one point you need a break. You need to refresh your ears, and you didn't have that. So you got my files, and your ears were fresh, and you were, I think, probably it was better for your distance choosing the take you would like most.
Yeah, definitely, because when you are musically creating, you will listen to that song probably a good 1,000 times before you've like made your before you've made your like final decisions, and especially when before it goes into the mastering stage as well. It was nice to come at it with fresh ears. I think that's why we got John Davis to master it for us, because Fabian originally was going to master it, but then because he was in the writing process of it, because he'd recorded stuff, we'd programmed it, we'd written it together, it was then like he'd listened to it so many times that it then wasn't fresh anymore, and you don't get that new excitement, joy factor from never hearing it before.
It's crazy at how many stages Fabian was in how many different functions also he was involved in co-creating the album with you. So I think it was very wise to give the mastering into different hands, just for this one reason of having fresh ears and not having dealt with the music for months. in different functions and different stages of preparing the album. So I think it was a good thing you did. And there's one thing I didn't tell you, Helena. I was recording everything. I was recording everything in my pajamas. So all the all the keyboard sounds, all the takes you have, which are on the album now, are actually pajama takes. And I believe, I honestly believe that pajama takes are the best takes. This is my personal conviction. So I was really sticking to that philosophy, and I didn't tell you until today, but now I wanted to confess.
You're confessing. Oh my goodness. Lockdown PJs.
Lockdown PJs. And also it was fun because we were quite close from each other, because I mean Sheep Hill Studios are not too far away from here. We are maybe 2 or 3 miles away. And but we couldn't meet because of Corona, and so we were on the phone, and you were sending me the files, I was sending you the files back, and we were discussing things. The feeling I remember from this session is so far but yet so close. Yes. At the same time, sometimes if you do a bit of production here and there and record an instrument there and here and there, there's always a risk that things fall apart a little bit, you know, that you get a patchwork. But with your album, I don't feel that at all. I've been listening to the tracks in the right order again just before, and I really feel that it's although it's musically very diverse and very eclectic. I feel that there is a very homogeneous aspect to it, so it doesn't fall apart, and that's and yeah, exactly. And then that's when I realized that the way we worked was good. I mean, it was not perfect because we couldn't be in the same room, because of course making music is feeling each other. But with this restriction, I think we did the best. Yeah, we did the best out of it. Feeling wise, I'm not talking about technical things. I'm just talking about the emotions. You know, I feel it when I hear the finished album now.
So amazing! So, I love it. Hey!
Me too.
Because no way would I have this album without any of you guys. So I'm very thankful.
Well, we are thankful too, but at the same time, we are kind of wondering when we're finally going to go live.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I have so many ideas, so many things that I want to do live. It will be epic to get everyone on the stage. That would be the best ever. I think the dream can come reality at some point. Don't know when, but I think it can happen for sure.
Yeah, it looks like that maybe during summer we could slowly start to have the possibility of rehearsing and playing together. So let's see when this pops up for us. But I think whenever it does, everybody will be ready, because I know I'm not the only one who is very keen to get on stage together soon. You know,
definitely. I think it's going to be amazing when we get to that point where we can be on stage again. And the album is coming out officially towards the end of this year. So we're looking at end of summer. It's going to be on vinyl as well, which is really exciting. On CD release as well, for those old school CDers out there. And even more old school / new school vinyl.
Vinyl is both.
I love it. It is completely.
Vinyl is past and future at the same time. CD is just past. Yes. I guess CD, it's just, you know, you still have people who are actually listening to music on CDs, but vinyl is unbelievable how much vinyl is being released in the last years.
Again. I love it, and it's so exciting.
I love it too.
to have that, because yes, I do have my vinyl collection. You have as well, right behind. We can see.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see Stevie.
Yeah. There is a bit of Stevie. But the most important influence among many important influences is here. I don't know if you can see them.
Prince.
But this is basically all the first 10 Prince albums.
Love
Which
him.
Prince is somebody who is me too, highly appreciated
So
here.
good.
And oh, by the way, we were talking about lonely cowboys. Prince was always considered a lonely cowboy. Prince is always used as an example of somebody doing everything by himself. But actually, knowing his biography quite well, it wasn't really the case. There was always people around him, counterparts, either for songwriting or for producing. He just didn't make such a big fuss about it.
I see.
So a lonely cowboy like him was always asking for, I was starting to think about us being on stage and playing new music. I just wanted to let you know that I haven't decided about my synthesizer setup yet.
Not decided.
Not decided. No, I wanted to bring in some suspense right now. That's I want to say. I think the Fender Rhodes is going to be pretty obvious part of the setup, because it's like, the basic part, but the synth on top and maybe one or two synths on the side. We have to see. Maybe Fabian and you come over to my place after this, this Corona thing is over, and we'll have a selection.
Yes, that's so exciting. I love it, because I was speaking with Seppi the other day, and we were talking about the setup for live, and that he's got triggers, he's got like the whole electronic like drum pads for triggers, and talking about programming the sounds from the album and using the trigger parts for that. I'm excited. And then to have the wonderful, eclectic, beautiful synths you're gonna have like stacks. I think you're gonna be like surrounding you.
I would need I'm gonna need 3-4 extra lights
like up here.
I'm gonna need a few extra lights because I have to switch sounds all the time, so I need to see.
I love it. This is it's so exciting. Just to think and to talk about it is epic, and then to think about it is going to happen one day. I'm going to be so happy.
Me too.
Are you busy yourself with playing and recording?
Yeah, I was lucky during Corona, because I had 2 big productions I could take part in. They were both for Austrian national TV. There is a show which is actually a original BBC show, which is called Strictly Come Dancing, which they have here. And in Austrian TV, they're using a live band, and I'm part of this band, which is more of an orchestra, actually, because we're almost 20 musicians. So there was an episode on in fall from September till November. So basically us, 20 musicians in this band, we were the only musicians in Austria working at that time. Which was it's really sad.
I was watching you. We were watching you on the TV. We were like, "Where's David? There he is."
Happily, I played and I didn't dance. Lucky me. And now since February, we have there is another show going on Austrian national TV, which is a casting show, which is called Starmania here. But here I'm not working as a musician, but as a producer. So the candidates who are involved in this show, they get to sing songs on the show. They sing live, but the music is pre-produced. So I'm delivering half playbacks for this show week by week. We're actually entering the last week next week. So
nice. Wow.
We're almost done, but this has been going on for 3 months now too. So I was happy to be able to work for that as well. So I really appreciate that I could do this. And the rest of the time, musician is always busy. Practicing. I redid my studio. I redid a lot of the wiring and some technical stuff. So the lockdown could have been longer for me, actually. I'd like to have another year of lockdown, so I can get everything done.
Still stuff
and
to do.
Then and then I feel ready to play live music again. Live music. Wow. Live music. I have to Google that.
I know.
I have to Google that. No, that joke, of course. I can't wait to be on stage again, and I'm really hoping and expecting that getting on stage with you will be one of the early things to happen.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Helena, I can't wait for it. It was a big pleasure to see you, even though it was just on the small screen. But it was nice to hear you and to see you and to chat with you. And all the best to England. And
Thank you.
hope to having you back here soon so we can start playing.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. God save the Queen.
I love it. God save the Queen. Bye, guys.
Helena, all the best. Bye-bye. Bye.